Hey, this is Mackenzie, and we're going to show you our Cold War landscape. So, and the topic we chose was the nuclear arms race.
Now, what is a nuclear arms race? It is not this kind of race. It is a race when two or more countries increase the size and quality of a military resource to get military and political dominance over another country. This arms race includes nuclear warheads. So it is about nuclear weapons and nuclear airheads, whatever. Who could get the most powerful, biggest, best nuclear warheads before the other country?
Okay, so our first pieces we got is the start and finish flag. Now, obviously, this is a nuclear arms race, so then that's why I put the start and finish. And it's also at the opposite ends of the base because it was a long race. It started in 1949, and it actually, some people never believe that it ended yet, since both countries are still testing out weapons and still trying to make bigger, more powerful bombs. Now, in short races, like a real race, like track runners, it don't get that physical, but those long races, for those like long leader races where everyone tries to get in the same lane, it starts to get physical. And then that's what might have happened if this kept on going. Both countries, Soviet Union and the United States, this nuclear arms race could have gone physical and then turned into an actual war. So this leads to the money sign. Now the money sign has like a little fiery rocket attached to it because we wanted to follow the theme of nuclear arms, like missiles. And it looks like the thing is shooting up because we wanted to show that the money was skyrocketing, like all the expenses and the costs. Now, the government didn't know how much they're actually spending on the nuclear arms race at this time, but it was only until after they found out how much they had. And in 1998, a newspaper article found out that they spent $5.8 trillion just focused on the nuclear arms race, like dismantling, doing studies, and trying to figure out how they can make it better. And a lot of money, obviously there's a lot of money because they're the highest superpower. The USA was the highest superpower for almost 50 years. Next, this leads to the plane / jet. So this plane could fly over 70,000 feet in the air, and it would be you could not see it if you're on the ground. It would be very hard, and it could actually take clear pictures down below of what was going on. So each country could spy on each other. And the reason why the plane is the highest on this base is also to show how each countries were on top of everything and they controlled everything down below.
Another interpretation that you could use of this plane is of the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the first ever atomic bomb ever used, and still is the first ever atomic bomb used in nuclear warfare. This could be the plane that started off the nuclear arms race, could be interpreted as that. Alright, let's move on to this piece. This is a desk, and this piece represents the fear that the American people had once the nuclear arms race had begun. Students were told that they were to duck and cover underneath their desks in the case of a warning of a nuclear bomb, which would at least give them a false security, but a fake security, as this would not protect them at all from a nuclear blast. But this is what kept the American people at least feeling safe during this very, very scary time. Alright, let's talk about the middle piece here. The big explosion. We felt we should make 3D because it's that massive of it's very noticeable. Everybody knows what you're talking about when you see a big explosion like this. It's referring to the big explosions that you would see whenever a nuclear bomb goes off. Some of the pictures of Hiroshima and Nagasaki's Little Boy Fat Man explosions, they do look like this. The one that we actually rendered it off of was Castle Bravo, the largest nuclear explosion that the US ever did. And this is what everybody like knows is like a nuke explosion. So we thought it was reasonable to put it here, and as like the big middle piece. And the final piece over here is the handshake, which is what represents like the treaties that the Americans and the Soviets had to prevent complete annihilation and omnicide, meaning we would kill ourselves by our own mistakes. So these treaties would include START, which would remove half of the nuclear weapons in the entirety of the world. There are many precautions that we needed to take to for sure survive as a planet and as people. And if one of these bombs were to go off and they were to land on one of the side, it would cause complete nuclear annihilation. So these treaties really did